Hello, beautiful people. I'm going to be talking to you really quickly about some necessities you might need for moving into your vehicle. Keep in mind that I am in like an SUV type vehicle. I'm not in like a van. I'm not in a smaller compact like car. I'm in an SUV. I think it's considered a crossover. I'm not really sure. But I have a Buick Encore 2017. So I have done this journey twice now. One was out of necessity of moving out of my apartment, not having another place to go, and I stayed in my car for about 2 to 3 months while I lived in New Jersey and while I was working 2 jobs full-time. This time around, I am on month number 4, going on to 5 of my full-time journey of being in here fully, completely, in Sedona, Arizona. So I start off with saying, know your climate, know your environment, right? So what I might have needed in New Jersey at a certain point in the year is not going to be what I need in Sedona at a certain point in the year, right? So if you are accumulating your clothes, make sure you have clothes for each type of weather for the place that you're staying. If you're planning on traveling from state to state, it's good to have a variety of clothing. But I'm also going to say with that to minimize as much as you can. So in this journey, even before this journey, I was consistently and constantly letting go of things. If something wasn't serving me, if I found that I haven't worn something for a long time, if ever, I let go of those things because I don't want to have clutter in my vehicle, which it looks a little bit messy, but it's all like organized chaos. It's all things that I've kind of narrowed down to needing. So I'd rather have clutter that's necessary than to have clutter that's unnecessary. And when I first was moving out of my living situation with my roommates to come into my car this time around, I had a ton of stuff, and it really inhibited my ability to sleep comfortably, to sleep at all, really. I was sleeping up here because I had no space in the back. And that's not completely a bad thing. If you're okay with doing that, then definitely do it. But if not, I would recommend like having some level of like, you know, make it comfortable for yourself, especially if you plan on doing it full time. If you're doing it shorter term, it may not bother you as much, but minimize. That is the main point. Minimize. So for me, I had a decent amount of clothing, which I've since narrowed down a lot. I find that the weather here in Arizona, even though it might get windy and chilly, I can oftentimes go out in a tank top and not feel bad. Otherwise, I have this heavier jacket that I've used here when it snowed, and it's been fine. I tend to stay in my car most of the time, so this jacket that I got from Walmart has been my winter jacket, but my overall cold jacket. And then I have, in addition to this, I have one black pullover hoodie and one black zip-up hoodie. I also tend to keep my clothes minimal in color, kind of, at least the basics, so that, you know, it's always easy to mix and match. It's easier to have a capsule wardrobe. It's easier for me to kind of choose clothing and choose outfits. I don't really choose like outfits because I don't know, I'm like, most of the time I'm doing Instacart and I'm doing work, so I don't really care too much about what I'm wearing as long as it's comfortable and functional. I do have like I have one piece right now that I don't wear, and it is this like bodycon pencil skirt that's really cute. I feel like I'm going to wear it at some point. I'm simply not in the environment or the situation to wear it. I feel like I would wear it to like a fancier, dressier occasion, and I simply haven't had the need for it, so I haven't let go of it. I haven't let go of it because I do plan on wearing it. I also have 2 maxi bodycon dresses that are fancier, but they can also be casual, right? So those I love getting and using. Since my cat has decided to come inside, I will now close the door. With that, also try to get things that have multiple uses. This goes for cookware, this goes for just anything in general. I don't really have too many of these things. I think I had a Swiss Army knife that I had that had like multiple tools. That was really cool. I had to get rid of it because the screw for it was coming out. But having things that have multiple uses, again, in terms of clothing, having things that you can wear casually and dressy, having things that serve multiple purposes. Maybe for example, I have like a foldable sink. I actually have to replace it because it's not like sealing anymore, but that I can use to wash my dishes, I can use it to wash my hair, I use it to wash my body, and for someone else that might be completely disgusting. I wash it out each time that I use it. I rinse them out, and I don't mind that like crossover, I guess. For someone else, they might have multiple sinks for multiple things. I don't go to gyms to shower because I can't afford it, so I rather take like little sink baths and wash myself that way. But yeah, having things that have multiple uses. The only real example I can give of this that I've done recently is that when I went to Walmart the other day, I purchased this big pot because I needed a pot, and the little frying saute pan that I had wasn't cutting it. I wanted to make like soups and broths and pasta, and it wasn't serving, so I got that. But out of all the selections, there was one specific one that had a strainer in it, which I didn't have a strainer. So, well, I had like a small strainer, but I don't have like a big pasta strainer or like to strain a lot of things. So I got that one. That in itself is something that's functional. I don't have it up here, but I have a simple modern cup that can be used for cold and for hot drinks. I love it for hot drinks because I can literally have a tea that I made early in the morning at like 6-7 a.m. and it'll be hot even at like 3, 4, 5 p.m. because the seal is just amazing on the cup. And I recommend Simple Modern specifically because I've used it multiple times. I've gotten the 28-ounce like cup multiple times, and they give you both the lid with the straw and the lid with the like the hot lid. So I find it super useful when I do use it. Most of the time I do just use a coffee cup, but it's definitely helpful when I do want to bring like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with me to go for the day. So that's something else that I would recommend as like having multiple uses. So this is definitely very important for me when it comes to like my cookware and my spices. I have a lot of spices, I'm not even gonna lie, but like having a spice that I know I can use for multiple dishes or spice blends is also functional as well, right? For in terms of dishes, like I get things that are collapsible when I can, to save space. I get things that again I can use multiple different ways. So for example, I have like a thing from a camping set that is like a cup, but it also has measurings inside it, so I can use it as a measuring cup, right? So yeah, things like that. So in terms of like, yes, minimizing so that you have more space to do the things that to fit yourself and the things that you want, also being smart about the things that you do accumulate to make sure that, again, when you can have collapsible things, that's super helpful. When you can have things with multiple uses, you have one thing instead of 2 or 3, right? So that's super helpful. Having things specifically for your vehicle is also very important. I just recently got a gas canister. I haven't yet used it, but I do plan on filling it up when I go across state lines again, because I've found myself in situations consistently where I've been stuck at gas stations because I didn't have money, and I'd have to wait for either a friend to help me out or, well, yeah, a friend to help me out because I wasn't going anywhere. So I just got a gas canister and I'm definitely going to be using it. It's a small one, it's small enough, and yeah. But also things that I have that are like in the back where my spare tire is under the main trunk platform. I have a Noco battery jump starter that I got from Amazon a few years ago. It was like $100 then. I don't know how much it is now. So that is like a battery. Basically, you charge it once and hopefully you don't have to use it too many times, or else you'll probably be getting fewer uses, but I've only had to use it about 2 or 3 times. I've used it once for myself, gave it to someone, they used it about once or twice. I borrowed it to someone who was in the parking lot, and they asked me if I had jump cables. I was like, I have this. And it's really been helpful to me. And I was able to charge it before I moved out of my roommate situation, so it should be good for any time when I need it after this. So that was really helpful. I also have a tire pump that's not automatic. It plugs into the cigarette lighter and it pumps my tires. In the thousands of miles that I've traveled since I left New Jersey, I've only just used it like 2 days ago. So I really my car. It has an engine problem right now. I don't know what it is necessarily. I just got an oil change. I thought that would fix it, but in all the thousands of miles that we've traveled together and how far we've gone together, my car is pretty held up. Like, I was just reminiscing on this the other day. I was like, as much of shit as I've put it through, and going off-road things and all the things that I've done, and going thousands of miles even without an oil change, going across state lines, going from one end of the country to another, the only real problem I faced is my oil and something with my engine. But it's been really sturdy. And I will say, before I left New Jersey, I did get a full kind of workup, I guess, or a full check of my car. So I got my brakes changed. That was also the time where I actually had money to spend, because I had money from my paychecks. So I got my brakes changed. I got 2 tires replaced that needed replacing. I keep getting tire rotations done when I do get maintenance done. And yeah, so that in itself, leaving the sorry, my cat Teddy likes to roll around in the dirt outside, and he just shook himself, and I'm just like, it's on your food now. Well, on your water. I can replace that. So getting all that done before I started traveling was super important. So if you do plan on living on your vehicle, doing an initial workup of it, doing initial maintenance is going to be really helpful for you. But also having the tools in your vehicle in case of any emergencies that arise is also important. Like I said, I also have a spare tire. I have coolant. I think the coolant is the only fluid I have, but if you have the space to store certain fluids, and you can store it safely, that it's not going to spill everywhere or be a fire hazard, then definitely store those with you, and you can maintain your own car. I attempted to buy materials to do my own oil change, and I got into my car, and that oil gasket thing was way too tight for me, and I've been facing a little bit of arthritis in my wrists. Sometimes it comes and goes, so I really wasn't going to be able to do it. So I had to return all that stuff and give away the rest of the stuff that I'd already opened. And so be it. I've just accepted some things I'm gonna have to get maintenance on, and some things I'm gonna be able to do myself, like filling up my coolant. Let's see, what else? With that, I would also say get to know your vehicle really well. If you have the manual for the vehicle, go through it. Obviously, I don't know everything about my vehicle, but even with this whole oil change thing, I know some things about my engine now. I know what I would need to get in terms of oil or an oil filter. Actually, I do still have the oil filter, in case I did ever maybe stumble upon someone who would be able to do it for me, Go on. But knowing your vehicle, knowing how old it is, knowing what it's susceptible to. For example, like I said, I know that my vehicle is more susceptible to engine issues. That's the thing that has come up the most for me over time. It's about 7 years old now. I've had it for 4, but the car itself is 7 years old, and I bought it used. So I know that my wear and tear on this vehicle, even though it's brought me super far, I've drove with it a lot because of my job before I moved into my vehicle. So I'm already at 102,000 miles. Hopefully it's sustainable and it lasts, but at some point it's probably going to get to a point where the maintenance is going to cost more than like the vehicle itself, you know? And that's when I'd have to be like, okay, what are my options? So just be aware of your vehicle. If it's a brand new vehicle, obviously you have a little bit less to worry about. If it's something that has been around for a while, you just want to be a little more attuned to the idiosyncrasies of your vehicle. For example, if you plan on doing a long road trip and you know your gas mileage is not that great, that's where getting a gas canister would really help you out, because you know, you'll be prepared for that. If you know that you tend to have engine problems, or you tend to run out of fluids, or you tend to get leaks, you know, making sure that you kind of protect yourself against that by either getting the maintenance done or having the things on hand to be able to take care of those issues when they arise. One thing that I've done recently, because I'm not able to pay my Verizon bill, I do have an iPhone 14, so I got a second eSIM with Mint Mobile. So now I technically have two numbers, two eSIMs, but I have unlimited data, and I also have Wi-Fi for my car. These things are definitely more specific to my situation, but if you're able to get Wi-Fi or data that you're able to afford, or if you have to upgrade your data, if you have to upgrade like your services so that you can accommodate yourself being on the road, definitely do that before you leave. I know a lot of people have the Starlink, which I would love to have one of those, but it's also like $600 last I checked for like the device, and then $120 per month, and I'm like, can't afford that. So my two systems are the Wi-Fi that I have for my vehicle, which renews every month, and the now unlimited data that I had for my phone. I ran out of service and I was without service for about a week, and that really limited, for one, doing Instacart, it limited the stores I could go into because I could only go to the stores that had Wi-Fi. And you know, obviously that would affect the money that I could make, etc., etc. So those are two things you might want to consider in terms of your phone service. If you have a specific service, maybe if you can't afford it, getting service with two different carriers, so that if, you know, service isn't great in one place, getting better service in another place might be easier. That's definitely helpful. What else? If you have a pet, making sure that you have like a fund for them, making sure you have pet insurance. I currently don't because I wasn't able to renew it, but I do need to get it again. Making sure you have the food, you know, being able to afford the food and whatever else your pet might need. I have a cat, so I have litter. I have a bag of litter that I don't use the full thing. I kind of just scoop out what he uses, and that can last me quite a bit. I don't get scented litter because I don't want it to irritate him or me. It gets everywhere and sometimes smells like overwhelm me. So, but yeah, I tend to shop for his food every once in a while. Today I think I bought like 20 something cans from Walmart today. Yeah, I don't normally do that, but I got him some treats and stuff. But yeah, making sure you can accommodate for your pet. All his shots and stuff are updated because I adopted him and all his stuff was taken care of. So I don't have to worry about that, hopefully. And he does have mucus buildup in his one blind eye, but I just clean it, and yeah, I take care of it as best I can. But yeah, whatever your pet, of course, like having access to veterinarians, having like a system where you can go in terms of an emergency is important. I know a lot of van lifers and car lifers, when they're traveling around, plan out their routes, which you should do, but taking into account all of these things, if you need to take a shower and you choose to go to Planet Fitness or go to certain gyms, making sure that that's in your area, or that you have an alternative to taking a shower, like using wipes. having water. I have spoken about this in another video, but having access to water or a place to refill is very important. Unless you want to just keep buying it, you can do that as well. But taking into account how things build up, I think one of the biggest things I've recognized being in my vehicle, but also being in my vehicle while not having like as much money as I used to make, is that very quickly things can turn into luxuries that used to be normal, right? Like doing laundry, I used to do it without a thought in my apartment and in my house with my roommates because there was a washer dryer right there. Now I have to make sure that I have enough money to go to the laundromat and get it done. And also because I have minimized my clothes pretty significantly, I can rewear things, sure, but I also have to make sure that I do my laundry every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and make sure that I'm okay with like the variety of clothes that I have. I'm definitely rambling now because I'm losing my train of thought. But yeah, like making sure you're aware of your amenities, you're aware of the surroundings, you're aware that you can reach certain things when you need to. Having a GPS, having some kind of system. I know a lot of us use our phones, but not everyone wants to use their phones. So you might want to get a specific GPS. You might want to activate the GPS system in your vehicle to use that. Those are all important things. I do want to mention a specific tip. I haven't used it yet, but I know that Apple has this new thing, at least with the iOS 16, where I'm on iOS 17 right now. I don't know, but it's like when you have no service, it has to specifically be you have no service at all. You can say like, you can type roadside into your text message app and it'll come up with like basically calling for help. So that is a tip that I've learned, and I haven't used it yet, but definitely seems useful, definitely seems helpful, so consider that. What else? Having hygiene things is very important. Making sure you have, one thing that I'm super happy that I did before I left was I kind of went shopping at Walmart, and I also had a lot of things that I just didn't get rid of. So I have like 2 or 3 things of toothpaste. I have multiple toothbrushes. I have a ton of pads and tampons and panty liners. Those are things I have not had to refill yet because I haven't run out yet, which has been really awesome. So where you can stock up on hygiene things, do so. That's definitely important. Like, I know I said to minimize, but also be smart about where you do accumulate things at the same time, right? Toilet paper is something you may not consider, but if you're in an area with porta potties or you have to dig a hole somewhere, toilet paper might be necessary, or wipes, you know. Trash bags, I kind of underestimate this, mostly because I've had multiple times now that I've gotten boxes of trash bags, and so I'm using them, and then it's the point where I don't have a trash bag where I'm like when I shop for myself, I don't tend to take bags too often because I usually shop really small orders for myself. But if I'm shopping orders for other people, or I do happen to go to the store for something, I make sure to get like a few bags, plastic bags for myself, so that I have trash bags. But trash bags are pretty important. Wipes, like I said. A process of washing your dishes. So if you do plan on cooking while you're on the road, I know a lot of people use vinegar as like a solution for their dishes. I understand that, and I did use it the first time around when I was in my vehicle, but let's be honest, some of us cook a little deeper, right? A little bit more, and the vinegar just sometimes didn't feel like it was cutting it for me. Maybe it just had to soak a little bit more, but for me personally, I needed those suds and like seeing it, the soap. So I did get Dawn dish soap, but I would recommend getting like a more biodegradable soap. That is something I want to look into, just in terms of everything I use. Like, I don't know if there's biodegradable like toilet paper, but I use a lot of porta potties, and I would like to be able to make sure that the things that I use don't impact the environment as much. I do tend to clean up after myself a lot, or others, when I see trash from other people, I tend to like take that and trash it. But like getting a biodegradable like dish soap, I heard in one of my podcasts like a day or two ago that there was someone, or it was a video, that there was someone who uses like one soap for everything. And I think the Dr. Bronner soap that I had before was kind of like that. It kind of got dirty because it spilled and it was just a mess. But I would love to be able to re-implement that, like having a shampoo, conditioner, body wash, again, multiple uses. I love that. But if it's also something I could use as like a dish soap, that would be amazing, you know? So for me personally, just seeing where I can impact the environment in a better way and being mindful of like what I use. What else? This is a random thing because I have a pet, and he's a very particular pet. So with Teddy, I adopted him, and he was technically supposed to be an indoor cat. At first he kind of was, like literally he did not want to leave the car at all. But I don't know, I kind of felt like kind of bad having him in the car so much when I would like go out to walk and stuff. So I eventually like got him to be a little more comfortable coming outside. And now, literally, as soon as I open the door and when I'm doing orders and stuff, he wants to jump out, and he's done it multiple times too. And I'm just like, no, Teddy, you can't do it every time. So I guess like finding parks and like outdoor areas that allow for pets. And I know dog owners, it's a little bit easier for you guys to find places because it's more often going to be multiple dog people. With having a cat, I have to constantly be on alert because he's gotten chased by 2 dogs so far. Not hurt, not, you know, but like could have been bad, right? So like being aware of parks and different places that you can bring your pets. You can tell I did not script this. Obviously having food, if you are cooking, and if you're not, having like some form of snacks, having something to cook with. I have mentioned in another video, I don't know if I uploaded it or not, but I am currently using the food bank here in Sedona because I don't make enough money to really shop for myself too much, or it's not really consistent enough that I can say, oh, I'm definitely going to be able to make groceries. So I use that resource, and I get produce, and I get like cans of beans, cans of soup, like stuff like that to help me along the way, and I'm able to cook with it. So having an area where you can either shop for groceries or, you know, access like a food bank or something to get food is very important. Sleeping, I personally have been able to sleep in multiple different conditions. There is noting that not all vehicles or cars are like super insulated. I personally haven't had too much of an issue. Like there are definitely nights where it gets super cold here, but I'm just in my sleeping bag, and I have like an extra blanket I purchased that are both warm. My sleeping bag isn't like a 0-degree sleeping bag or anything, but it keeps me warm enough. Usually if I know it's gonna be a cold night, on my way driving to the area that I go to, I will have my heat on and I'll keep my windows up. There are nights where it's specifically warm, not really warm per se, it's just warm for me, so I have my windows down, and I'm okay just being under my sleeping bag, being under like my blanket. Usually Teddy will be either on top of me or next to me, so there's that warmth. But again, making sure you have like the adequate materials for sleeping for yourself. So whether that be a sleeping bag, whether that be blankets, I have like one pillow. I would like to get like a bigger pillow. That would be the one investment I have. I don't have a mattress pad, but I do have like a yoga mat that is underneath it. It's comfortable enough. Like I said, I'm not like super picky. I really only get back pain specifically when like Teddy is on a part of my body that's like really making it uncomfortable. Like usually if he's on like my lower stomach and my back is like arched, or I don't have this seat pulled up forward enough, like it'll be very uncomfortable for me. So I have to make sure I make the necessary adjustments each night to make sure I'm comfortable. Obviously sleeping conditions are going to be different depending on your vehicle, the size, your height, your size, how much stuff you have. So making sure you have that set up. So I know I've been going on for a little bit, well, quite a bit now. But one thing I will say, if you are planning on starting like living in your vehicle and you're not already in your vehicle, try it out for like a night or two. Like if you live in an apartment building, just like, I don't know, bring a sleeping bag or whatever, or make your setup and just sleep in your parking lot for a day. Like get your window covers. Window covers are a necessity. I can't believe I didn't say that. Window covers, privacy. I have like these curtains I got from Amazon from the first time around. I don't have the full set anymore, which is kind of a bummer. There was one that like would go across the back. I do have a tapestry that I have that can do that technically. I just don't put it up because Teddy jumps back and forth so much that it's just not worth it. But I have window covers. I have another tapestry that I use for my other curtain back there. Well, no, 2 tapestries that I had from my room. I have them as my window covers back here. They're not currently on because I need a field of vision on that side. And well, Teddy for some reason just has been pulling this one down today. I don't know why. And I had to move some stuff, so it's not up there right now. But I have window covers. This doesn't fully cover. I'll have to show my setup for this because it's kind of a little gimmicky, I guess, because I made it like this. This is not the way it's supposed to be. I'll show it at some point. But it doesn't cover like the full window. Like, you know that portion of the window where it's like the little small section where the side mirrors are? It doesn't cover that section. So there's always going to be that like field of visibility. I don't really care too much because I'm not really doing anything and you can't really see too much in looking in from there. But it covers the majority of my window. I also have like the little, I don't have reflectix, but I did get like a kit of the silver window covers. Those don't fully cover my window either because they're not made for my car, but they do work. I use it for my windshield covers. I use it for my back cover. Whenever I do feel like putting it up, usually I leave it open. And I just use the curtains for everything else. So, and this one's really cool because it is like a reflection on one side for like when it's sunny, and then it's black on the other side, so I use that when it's dark. So those two are helpful. Those are helpful. I don't think there's anything else. Obviously, I think the last thing would be like knowing how you're making money. Again, I've mentioned in another video, if you are planning on being stationary and kind of working in like one place, then you're fine. You can pretty much sleep in like the parking lot of that place if you can, or like sleep nearby and then just go to and from. That's usually pretty easy, especially if you're in like a grocery store or something that has like an overnight kind of shifts. You can blend in pretty easily. If you are moving around like I am, you're always gonna have to be aware of like your gas, your maintenance. I am currently doing Instacart, and I've opened up some other delivery apps like DoorDash, but you know, here specifically I already kind of know the pattern. Weekdays are typically slower, weekends are a little bit better. Holidays are always going to be a busy week. So yeah, I am looking to get a specific job, or at least specific places here. I don't necessarily want to be in like commercialized type jobs anymore. I want to be in a place where I feel like it's a little bit like mom and pop, or at least like it feels like they care about you a little bit more. It's a little more personal. So there is one specific place I am waiting to hear back from. I did put my name down, and I told, like, I've had applications with them for a few weeks now, and you know, I've met the manager, they know who I am, I go there regularly for Instacart orders, so I'm really hoping I do get that specific job because it feels a little more personal. It's not like I have to dress super professional necessarily, like it just feels a little more laid back, and it doesn't feel as like chaotic and heavy to me as like working in one of the bigger retail stores would be, because I've done that and I don't want to. But yeah, just figuring out how you're gonna make money. I'm currently still brainstorming that, even though I've been in here for like 4 or 5 months now. Instacart is great, but I was literally just thinking about, like, if there's a day when I'm not feeling well or I don't want to do it, like, I want to still be able to make money, right? So yes, I'm doing YouTube, but I just want to kind of build up my streams of income a little bit more to make sure that, you know, I can bring money in multiple ways. I've talked about on this channel, how I really like this lifestyle and not having a specific job to go to because of the freedom, right? The freedom to move around, the freedom to wake up and go to sleep when I want to. Like I've said, if I don't feel well, if I'm super tired, I've had days where I've needed to pass out the whole day, and it's been okay because I have no obligations to a specific place. So take that into consideration if you are in kind of the same boat as I am, as like, oh, I don't really want to get a job, I don't want to work for other people. For me, this is really random, but because I've downsized my clothing so much, I have like one black collared shirt that's like a long sleeve shirt, but I don't have jeans. I don't have, like, all my pants are either joggers or like this new pants that I've gotten that are kind of like yoga pants, which I really like because they're super comfy. So I don't really have like professional clothes like that, and I don't want to get professional clothes. I don't want to get jeans. I don't want to get, like, so again, that's really specific, but I don't have the materials to be in that anymore. You know, so that's not a priority for me. But yeah, I've definitely been rambling, but I think I did give some good points, I think. Hopefully. Oh, first aid. Get some first aid stuff. I got a bunch of stuff from the Dollar Tree before I left, and I haven't used like half of it, but it was still helpful to have. I've needed band-aids a few times. I have some peroxide, I have rubbing alcohol, I have hand sanitizers, suntan spray, a bunch of chopsticks. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff. I might talk about in the next video how to get rid of things if you're in your vehicle, in terms of like giving away things and donating, and because I've done a few like different things the past few weeks where I've given away different things to different places, and I found out some cool things where I was like, oh, I didn't know I could do this. So I will share that, but not in this video, in the next video, or another video at some point. And definitely comment down below. I am not an expert by any means of like how to live in your vehicle, how to make money in your vehicle, but if there are tips and tricks that you guys would like to hear about, things you'd like to hear about, let me know. I mean, I may not be making a whole lot of money, but I can give tips about Instacart if that helps. Because honestly, there are days where I make a lot and most of it is tips, and that's really nice. So yeah, that is everything. I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and if you'd like to donate, all my links are down below.